And we're back.
Ah, indeed.
Back today. Back today with something from Echo.
Indeed. Indeed, indeed.
Echo.
So last time we excuse me. Last time we visited Echo, we were doing their flavoured chili oils.
We were, yes.
And since then, they have really branched out, haven't they?
Like most of us during lockdown, they have expanded.
They have. They have.
I know I have.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they've expanded their product range. They now do rubs.
Yep. So we've got obviously the oils, there's rubs, and they've started to do chili pastes.
Chili paste. Mm-hmm. This is Hafricana, I think.
Yep.
Isn't it?
Hafricana.
Yeah. Hafricana. Chili paste. Now, I'm going to read off of the website here. All right. And it says here, an original and traditional southern Cameroonian recipe.
Ooh.
Now, you all know Cameroon. They did really well in the World Cup. Good few years back now, but they did. Yeah. I can't remember the player's name, but he was absolutely fantastic. And I don't even watch football. And he had me spellbound. So, yeah, that put Cameroon on the map for me.
And it was lovely, actually, because I was chatting to Inda a few weeks ago, and we were sort of talking about products, and we'd said, flavours from home. Bring something in. The oils are fantastic, but having some flavours from home, that's something. It brings in something a little bit different into the products.
Yeah, it's niche. Do you know what I mean? Loads of people do a chili paste, right? But what makes your chili paste different? What makes yours the one people want to pick out of that lineup?
And I think people forget that, chilies aren't just something that comes from, sort of America and Mexico and places like that. It's
Everywhere.
all over that it's used.
Everywhere.
And you don't realise how much it's actually used in cooking throughout Africa as well. So, yeah, I'm interested to try this because I, as far as I'm aware, I've never tried any kind of Cameroon flavoured or influenced food before. To the best of my knowledge.
That's about to change.
It is.
Right, in this little jar, we have red habanero chili, 66%.
That's quite a lot.
2/3 of the jar. That's a lot of chili. We have, in the little gap that's left, tiny little gap, we have onion, ginger, garlic, salt, we have lemon juice, we have yangsa, which is rhicinodendron.
I think it's like a plant or a seed, isn't it, that's used quite often as a flavouring.
Yeah, it's
And
used
it's
as a flavouring, and it's also used as almost like, oh God, what do they call it? The medicine.
I'm trying to think, but I know when I was reading up on it, it had
homeopathic medicine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's got a lot of medicinal properties, I think, from what I can see. So I can understand again why
We
you
have
would use.
pebe, which is African nutmeg. Obviously, slightly different kind of nutmeg, I would say, if it's got a different name, but I didn't look that one up because I knew what nutmeg was. And rapeseed oil. So we've got a couple of things in there which are going to be flavour profiles that, are new to us.
Yep, absolutely.
Nutmeg, yeah, I kind of know what nutmeg is, but pebe could be its own thing.
It's a bit like, isn't it? What's the Japanese horseradish?
Wasabi.
Yeah, or the other radish as well, the big white radish. Can't think what that's called. But yeah, wasabi and horseradish, very similar family,
but
quite different in flavour profile.
Yeah. So I'm quite looking forward to this. Now, this says it's a paste. Okay, so it's a marinade, could be a condiment, could be an ingredient. If you were, I mean, they suggest grilled fish and meat. With this, it is vegan, so you could put it straight onto veg. So that would be, you know, an option. Fish and meat. So you could put it on there and then whack it under the grill, stick it on the barbecue.
Yeah.
You know, just cook it up. It's gonna be interesting.
Jar opening.
Jar opening for that. I'm going to give that a 9. I'm going to give that a 9. You know, it wasn't quite as satisfying when I took the lid off, but it was pretty good.
It's a high scoring
It was
one,
pretty good. Firm enough you knew it was on there, but not too firm that I needed mechanical help to get it off. So we'll give that a 9 for the opening. It's like a box office thing, isn't it? Yeah. So, what have we got in the jar? Well, in the jar we have that. It looks like a paste. Looks like a chili paste.
It's a lovely deep red colour, isn't it, as well? Oh, I like habaneros. Habaneros are one of my favourite chilies as well. I love the flavour. It's like the fruity flavour, but that sting. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? So I'm getting the pepper. I'm getting onion, but there's something there that it's an aroma I don't recognise. But yeah, I've got the peppers. There's something which almost could be nutmeggy, but I'm not quite sure. But there's definitely a very different ingredient in there to anything that
I'm wondering if it's Nyangsa.
It could be Nyangsa, couldn't it?
I'm wondering if it is. I'm hoping I'm getting that pronunciation right. It's NJANGSA, so Nyang.
Nyangsa. Nyangsa.
Or it could be Nyangsa. Yeah. Okay. So consistency-wise, it's a nice thin paste, which is important if you're using it as a marinade.
Absolutely.
So you can really work it into the food. I think it would probably work better with meat and fish than veg because of that. You know, if you were doing it onto vegetables, my suggestion might be to heat it up a little bit. You know, maybe put a tiny little sprinkle of corn flour in there.
So I wonder how that would
Just
go as like a coating if you were doing some different sort of roast potatoes and you put a little bit of that in with your...
Yeah, you could just
your
drizzle it
oil.
over the top or
mix it with
roll them around.
your oil before you baste your potatoes.
Yeah.
But it's got the looser texture. And again, you know, if you're putting it onto fish, and fish, you know, a lot of fish could be quite delicate when you're handling it, you know, that would easily spread or brush onto it without breaking anything up.
Chase the heat. Hot sauce tasting
If
spoon.
you're going to do it properly.
Available at johnnyscoville.com. Don't taint your paste, bro. Don't taint your Nyangsa. So. Right. So I'm just going to put a little bit on this. It is oil based, so I'm not going to go heavy on it because it's an oil based paste and it will just be oily if you have too much. So I've got enough there to taste it. And you're going in deep again, aren't you? God.
No, it's fine. It's not spilling over this time.
Just go downstairs.
It's almost got a really umami smell to it.
It has. It has.
So now it's out the jar, I'm getting it a bit more. I'm starting to get...
Getting the garlic
the
a little
garlic
bit
and
now.
the ginger.
Yeah.
Starting to come through, but it's got a really, really savoury smell to it. So I'm thinking more and more actually with, you know, meat and fish, absolutely. that would work incredibly well. Right,
Right.
let's give it a go. Oh, that is savoury. I think I got onion, I got garlic, I got a hint of the ginger, got a little bit of tartness from the lime juice, and then it's this. I'm trying to think how best to describe it. It's not sort of paprika-y, but it's got that same sort of earthiness that you get. So if you've ever eaten like a goulash or something like that, and you've got this like a really earthy flavour behind it, and it's kind of got all of that, and I'm sort of thinking about that going, yeah, do you know what, brushed onto fish, brushed onto meat and grilled, it would give a lot of depth of flavour. And then you've got like the habanero kind of again comes in probably about halfway through for me. It's got quite a high percentage of habanero, but it actually, I didn't find it too much. You've got the little sort of needles on the tongue. And then there's just this hint of something that's kind of lurking just behind it, that almost sweetness. And I don't know whether that will be the nutmeg, because that could be quite a sweet spice, can't it? A sort of nutmeg, almost. It's like a flavour I can almost recognise, but I can't put my finger on what it is.
Anything that uses oil as a vehicle to carry chili is misleading. Okay, because you put it in your mouth to start with, and because capsaicin is an oil, it's suspended within the oil. Okay, oil doesn't break down terribly well with saliva. So you put it in your mouth and you're waiting for a minute, and then you experience the onion, the garlic, you know, you get the ginger, you can taste the lemon in there as well, little citrus hit. Couple of things that maybe your palate doesn't recognise, like you say, the little kind of nutmeg-ish
Yeah, it's sort of
note to it, and you're like, okay, maybe that, you know,
that
I
could
can
be
see
that.
why you call it nutmeg. And then there's something else going on there, which is going to be the Yangtze, which is, you know, it's not unpleasant at all, but it's a new flavour.
It's a new flavour, isn't it? It's
That you
interesting
know,
flavour.
wouldn't have tasted before. So you're sitting there, and just while your brain's working all this out, the chili pops up to say hello, and then you get the typical habanero needles.
Yeah.
I got it quite at the back of my throat as well. So, you know, I hold stuff in my mouth for a little while to taste it and work it round my mouth, because different bits of the mouth taste different things. And then swallowed. And that's when the chili went on the back of my throat. And I was like, ooh. Definitely one. You see, work with me here, people. It's oil based. Okay, I could see that in a little dish with a little dash of balsamic vinegar.
Or are you thinking dipping dough balls?
Dough balls or bread or something like that.
Yeah, instead of doing like the olive oil and balsamic thing.
Yeah, I could see that being in there.
It would work actually if you have cheesy bread.
South Asian food, for example, chili oil. It's massive, absolutely massive. And a lot of it, I mean, it's not quite as thick as this, but it has that kind of similar consistency with, you know, garlic and onion and stuff in the actual, in the oil with the chili. And it's huge, absolutely huge. Every South Asian country has its own version. You go to Korea, you got gochujang. You know, you go to China, there's like, for every village in China, there's going to be a different type of chili oil. Because it's homemade, and this stuff is part of the culture. It's really, really, really prevalent everywhere you go. I can see this being the kind of African version.
It's almost like if you had a pho and you put a big spoonful of that and mixed it through into your broth and things like that. It would just, because as we were saying, it's got the umami that would do that.
I mean, I'm not completely familiar with Cameroonian cuisine, but pretty much worldwide, okay, you have grilled, you have stewed, you have fried, you know, depending where you are in the world, depends on what kind of materials you're working with, and what kind of vessel it is you're cooking in, because, you know, pots and pans vary around the world. But I can see that being in a big pot, right? Yeah. And there's like the cook standing there with their big pan in front of them, and they're like, right, what have we got? We got some meat, yeah, great. We'll put that in there. We've got some, you know, potato or onion or whatever, and we'll throw that in, yeah, great, fantastic. Couple of big spoons of that in there, very nice. And then frying it up, getting it going, you know, maybe making a little stock or whatever. But it is that kind of, it's that kind of thing. It's the kind of thing you have a jar, it's there, and whenever you want a little bit of heat, whenever you want a little bit of pep up a bit of meat or something.
Or but just adding a bit of depth of flavour to stuff. Because it's definitely, I think, you know, I would say I would use it certainly more as an ingredient or a marinade rather than a condiment.
I think...
But, you know, when you were talking about the dough balls and dipping...
Yeah.
Technically it's a condiment then, isn't it,
Yeah.
I guess. But that, I'm thinking like dough balls with cheese in it.
I think
like
oil-based stuff lends itself better to being an ingredient. Because, you know, the oil... It doesn't work with everything, you know, as a condiment. It's not quite as flexible as maybe a sauce would be, but there are certainly foods that it would work fantastically with. So noodles, any kind of stir fry, you know, from whichever particular cuisine you want to pick.
You could dollop that into your stir fry, couldn't you? And again, just...
You know, put your stir fry on the plate and then just drizzle a bit over the top. Fantastic. Heat for you?
After having gone back for my second spoonful, I'd say probably about a 1.5 to 2. It's a creeper. It's a creeper.
It's a sneaky Cameroonian ninja, is what it is. That for me it's a good 2, and I think if you were, you know, heavy-handed putting it in, I think you could probably creep it up to a 3.
Yeah, I mean it's 66% Habanero, so it's, you know, it's understandable it's going to be warm, but I think that could be very, very versatile.
Absolutely.
Almost use it in a similar way to a sambal, couldn't you? As well, it's that it will lend itself to that, you know, the coating, marinating, frying it off.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, there we go.
That's what I'm going to do with it.
Oh,
nice.
when you do your baked cod.
Yeah, nice baked cod, just marinated in, and a little bit of butter in there as well. So, air-co.co.uk, link in the description below.
Got my nose running now.
That's where you can find it. Don't forget, johnnyscoville.com for your hot sauce tasting spoon, should you wish to get yourself one. And why wouldn't you? They're lovely.
Little bits of art, not just amazing for tasting your sauces with.
Yeah, just here. Ding, 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 ding. Hit that if you're not subscribed, because that will change. And just up here, is something.
We hope you like it. We didn't do it.
No, it wasn't us, it was you two. Anyway, I think that's quite enough from us for now.
Indeed.
Thank you ever so much for watching.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Take care.
And we'll see you in the next one.